Hey guys, David Patrick Green here with another fantastic video about how to have your acting career. As always and more than ever, please like, subscribe, and share, and click the bell for notifications, because without liking and sharing, the channel won't grow, and if the channel doesn't grow, then you're just not going to get notified about more videos, because that's kind of how the whole YouTube thing works. More people watch it and share it, then other people get to hear about it and promote your content. Okay, so today I'm going to rate all of the online casting services like Allcast, Explore Talent, Nowcasting, Allcasting. Then there's Casting Workbook up in Canada. There's Explore Talent. And I'm going to rate them all basically as a group. I'm not going to rate one individually, because they are all more or less the same. Okay, so, and I'm also going to tell you, if you choose to go the online casting route, which is, submitting yourself online, how you can find out if the castings, if the roles that are available are actually legitimate. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about these online casting services. So how these arose is really, it's just the electronic age. And they were basically supposedly empowering actors, right? You didn't have to have an agent. You didn't have to get a casting appointment. You could submit yourself to a project, and you would get a fair shake, theoretically, right? You would get consideration. And the problem with these things is that they gave actors the sense that they were being considered, but honestly, I'm not really sure whether they were. And really, that's the problem. I mean, unless you got called in, you really didn't know if the submissions were going to blind eyes or not, if the submissions were falling on deaf ears or not, if anyone was even looking at these things, right? So you could spend however many dollars a month on the service that you chose, and you could choose one or two or three. I mean, that was the thing, you didn't know, so you would subscribe to all of them. And so you subscribe to all these things, then you see the same projects are on each one. And then you start to think, okay, so is one of them better than the other? Is one getting a better look than the other? And, the honest truth is no. I mean, I doubt it. But, you couldn't tell, because they were all there to submit. So now what do? You submit, you don't hear anything. Okay, what does that mean? You just keep doing it for a while until you hear something, and then maybe you think it's legitimate or maybe not. I don't know. So here's a way you can tell if a service is legitimate, or at least specifically whether a production that is on a particular site that you are using, whether it's actually been posted there by the producer or the casting director or whoever else might be putting these things up, or whether it's just been grabbed, copied, and pasted by some bot service that is basically taking these listings automatically and just pasting them onto their website. And honestly, I don't know if any of them do that. I sort of guess, because I've seen some of them and they look so terrible and fake and phony and illegitimate that no professional producer would want their work put on them. I'll also talk about whether it's realistic to think that you could even be considered for a particular project based on your location or who you are and what you've done so far, etc. So hopefully I'll remember that. But if not, I'll do it in another video. So they created these websites so that actors feel like they're getting an honest, shake, but you don't know because you can't tell. So the way to tell if it's legitimate or not, and this is just the particular posting that you're looking at, is to contact the producers. Or if the casting director is listed, try to contact them. Now, casting directors make themselves notoriously difficult to reach by actors. I mean, it's by intention. I have my thoughts on that, but I'm not going to get into it right now. But that's what you would do, is contact the producers, whoever you can get a hold of, production company, casting director. You could even call an agent if you wanted to just ask them their general opinion, but I would skip that. Let's just stick with the people who are responsible for the project, which are the producers. So what do? You just call them up, send them an email, and look, if you don't get a hold of somebody right away, then try another one. Try a bunch of them until you get somebody live, and just say, "Hi, this is so-and-so. I'm an actor, and I was interested in submitting for your project, such and such," because I've seen these, Explore Talent notices in particular. They'll be saying Disney is doing a worldwide casting for teenagers, blah, 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 right? And you're like, oh, that sounds amazing. But is it legitimate? And you don't know. So you call the producer up, you call the production company up. It doesn't really matter who you talk to. Talk to anybody you can and just say, hey, do you have a project that's castable that I can that I'm seeing right now? Because I saw your posting, and I noticed that they're looking for this type of person. Did you guys put that up? And look, they may or may not know, but if they do know, they'll tell you, oh yes, that's live. And the great news is, if they say yes, then you can tell them about yourself if you are the right person for the project and you have some reason why they would want to see you, right? So you're really kind of killing two birds with one stone. Not that I would ever kill any birds with a stone, although if I could, it would be a pretty impressive skill. So what we're doing here is we're building relationships with people in the business, the most important people in the business. Really, the only really important people in the business to an actor is the person who's actually going to sign your paycheck. And we're also finding out the legitimacy of a website or its postings or what have you. And do you see now? I mean, really what this is all about, it's about meeting people. It's about networking. It's about building relationships, which are the two most important things you can do. Are you kind of flicking? This way you are creating relationships, because, I mean, the way I would frame the call would be, hi, my name is David Patrick Green. I'm an actor. I've been in several TV shows and movies, and I feel like I'm a perfect fit for the part of such and such. I was just on the website Explore Talent, Allcasting, Nowcasting, Allcasting, casting workbook, what have you. And I saw that it was posted there. And, I'm a little leery of these websites because they look too good to be true. Keep it very light and pithy and having fun. And so I'm just wondering, is this legitimately posted there? And they'll say, oh, yes, or oh, no, or whatever they say. And you say, well, what's your name? Oh, well, what do you do? Oh, cool. How long have you worked there? Like, just really, again, light. What's it like? You could have a little quick conversation. And then you say, look, since I've got you on the phone, would you mind if could I just send you my picture and a short note of why I think I'm perfect for this part? Because I don't just submit blindly to anything. I'm very careful and cautious so that whenever I do an audition, I am already almost certain that I'm going to be a great fit for the part. And look, the chances are they're not going to give you anything. They won't tell you, their email address. Any of this is possible and probable as well. Like, they probably aren't going to want to. But then you could even say, well, look, if I send it to you, could you send it on to casting? It says the casting director's name here. Could you send it to them? Because imagine if they said yes to that. Because then you would be literally getting a referral from a colleague at their company that will look like this person is recommending you. But it's going to separate you so much from the herd. Okay, so that's basically how you would tell whether these websites are legitimate. And look, you could do a sample of, like, in one day, try 4 or 5 of them. Don't even worry about whether they're right or not for you. Just grab 4 or 5 of them. It's almost better if they're not right for you, because then you have nothing to lose if you annoy them or whatever. But grab 4 or 5, try to contact these production companies and try to find out if, as a rule, they use these websites, okay? And you will probably find out fairly quickly which ones are legitimate, which ones aren't. Maybe they are all legitimate. Honestly, I don't know. But here's why I don't really care, okay? Because when you subject yourself or submit yourself to these online submission sites, all you're doing is entering this sort of process at the lowest possible level, okay? Because of this great equalizer that these online websites are, everybody can do them. And because everybody can do them, everybody does them. And so you're up against millions of other actors, or thousands, so I don't know, you really have no idea, because you're talking about like a website I know, like Explore Talent, which, you know, claims to have I don't know how many millions of members, and I'm sure they make a lot of money on their ads, and I think they have subscriptions as well. If you're up against 1 million people, I mean, what are the chances that, I mean, don't even talk about booking the part. What are the chances that if it actually is legitimate and they get, let's just say 10,000 submissions, what are the chances they're actually going to see your submission? They're going to look at it. Because, you know, there's also a whole other level of these online submissions, and that's through breakdown services in the United States. Fairly sure it's covered by Casting Workbook in Canada. And I don't know the preferred site in the UK or Australia or wherever, but it's all the same. So there's this top level, and by the way, Breakdown Services pretty much has a monopoly, or they have had a monopoly. I know that because they were so slow to adapt to technology, because they had a monopoly, that some tech people have come in and sort of shaken the boat up a little bit, rocked the boat, so to speak. And, you know, I'm not sure that they have the monopoly they once did, but it doesn't really matter whether they've got the monopoly or whether it's split among other companies. There's a higher level of submission, and they're getting looked at first. I mean, basically, first you've got the A-list agencies, and they have a ton of power because they've been double dipping as packaging and producing and all that stuff. So, you know, they'll make it very difficult to hire one actor without saying, well, you also have to hire these actors as well. You know, and they held a lot of leverage over production companies, like over the producers or the casting directors or whomever. And so you've got that tier. So first of all, the roles go out to offers, right? Before it's put into sort of the general casting pool, the roles that the producers have a person in mind for are sent out to offer only, okay? Those are actors that will not audition. You can either offer them the part or just forget about it, and they'll either take it or leave it. Now, it goes out to the A-list agencies. They take a look. They say, oh, yeah, this sounds like it's pretty good for Brad Pitt. Okay, hey Brad, you interested in this? No, man. Me and, I'd say Angelina, but I think that's history. You know, me and maybe it's Jennifer Aniston again, who knows? We're busy, or I'm shooting something else, or I'm producing something, I'm writing. I'm going skydiving. Can't do it. Not interested. Whatever. Oh, so then that offer gets rejected, and then the casting director or the producer, whomever, goes to the next person they think would be really good. And they go through all this list of people that they think would be really good for it. And if it isn't picked up by one of the people they offer to, then they'll put it out for general casting. And then the people that actually audition, and there's still big stars that audition, you'd be shocked. Some of the people I've walked into an audition room would blow your mind. Anyway, it goes out to these people, and they're at the top level. They audition for it, and they might even be in negotiations for whether, how much they're going to get paid, how big their trailer is, all that kind of stuff. And then, but while these negotiations are going on, it's possible that they might start the casting process because, time is always of the essence. So they might start the casting process with general, just regular actors that have some credits, probably some really good credits. And eventually, if that doesn't work out, then they start bringing in the unknowns. Okay, so you're talking 3 or 4 layers at least. And this is all through agencies, okay? These are through agencies, through breakdown services. Then, and again, they might put it out to the general public, but they will not be paying attention to it because guess what? There's 10,000 of you submitting, okay? So they're dealing with known quantities, people with resumes like mine who have 6 recurring roles on different TV series, who have done X-Men movies, who have worked with Renee Zellweger or whomever, right? Then they're looking at me and people like me that are represented. And if and only if that doesn't work out, which almost is an infinitesimal chance. I mean, what do you think the chances are of, from all of the pool of actors that they know, they can't find somebody to do this job before they just go and watch your video? Okay, watch your self-tape, your audition, or whatever it is, or not even, just look at your profile and say, oh, I have no idea who this person is. They live 10,000 miles from where we are or where this is shooting. Like, literally think of the chances that they are going to do something about it. They're actually going to look at you, take you seriously, and then they're going to bring you in for an audition or ask for a self-tape or what have you. Okay? So, as you can tell, more or less a giant waste of time. And I mean, I hate to say that, like, it sounds really cynical, but it's not cynical, it's just the truth. If you think it through, that is the truth of online audition or online submission websites. And I mean, it's not even far from that for people like me, okay? Because yeah, I've got a long resume, but I'm not a household name. So even for me, for my agent to get me something, first of all, it's not going to be easy because there's a lot of actors out there who have credits. But even then, with all the credits that I have, everybody's got their opinion. And whatever it is that you've done or they think you've done, if they can even, put a name and something that you've done to their memory banks, which is a feat in and of itself, even then they have their own opinion. And so they'll say like, oh, like I might think I'm perfect for it because I know who I am and I know what I'm right for, but my career may not be a perfect reflection of who I am and what I'm right for. And so I may have done something and the casting director has had their 2 minutes of experience with me, which obviously is not a really great way to get to know somebody. And that's what their impression of me is. And good luck trying to change that. I mean, how could you change it? Because when do you ever actually get to be in front of these people that you can have a conversation and say, hey, let me tell you a little bit about myself. And they find out that I have a really, zany, sense of humor or what have you when I've played a lot of professional roles, military roles, you know, doctors, lawyers, businessmen, etc. So, you know, this is what you're up against, and that's if you're represented with professional credits. You can just imagine how hard it is if you don't have credits and you're submitting on a website with 3.4 million members or whatever the case may be. Okay, guys, so the solution to all of that is back to the beginning, and that is to get to know producers or directors or cinematographers or anybody in the business who's actually making these projects. Because look, a producer is going to be harder to get to know than a cinematographer because like they're at the top of the food chain. So if you get to know somebody who's, you know, in post-production or who does the lighting, they have connections to these people, and it's not that hard to meet producers if you're hanging out with the people that producers work with. Okay guys, so look, this is a lot longer than I expected, but there's just so much information to share, and I really do enjoy sharing it, so I hope you share it too. And by the way, let me know, I've got some Hack Hollywood t-shirts coming, they're freaking awesome, multiple styles, and you know, send me an email, david@hackhollywood.com, or just leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll let you know how to get one. All right guys, that's it for now. I'll talk to you later.